Sellers, Chief Deputy with the Marshal Service out of Roanoke, Virginia. We're pleased to announce today that we've recovered fugitive Benjamin Shook, as well as endangered juvenile Hayleigh Wilson. I'll let the sheriffs talk a little bit more about how the tip came in. The Marshal Service got involved in this case on two folds. One, we're charged with prosecuting individuals who cross state lines, unregistered sex offenders, which Mr. Shook has been charged out of the Eastern District of Tennessee on that. He's currently waiting extradition over there to stand for his initial appearance. The second phase that we get involved in, recently President Obama signed into an act that allowed the Marshal Service to work with our state and local counterparts on endangered and missing juveniles. So on both of those elements, we were able to get involved in this case. We're happy to announce that after 16 grueling days, through difficult and trying, dedicated efforts by the investigators of multiple agencies, we were able to put this to rest. Today a tip came in that I said the Sheriff's Department will talk about. One of the things I want to make sure that we get across, this is a combined effort. Marshal Service, Smith County Sheriff's Office, Wythe County Sheriff's Office, Grayson County Sheriff's Office, Washington County Sheriff's Office, Virginia State Police, U.S. Forest Service, Virginia Game Commission, NCMEC, which is the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. We're all part of this combined team. It should be noted that without the efforts of all of those agencies, this couldn't have came to a happy resolution that it did. Secondly, the citizens and the media, we want to thank them. We've put out a tremendous amount of flyers on this case. The media has covered it extensively. We're grateful for that, and because of that coverage, because of the flyers and the community assistance, we were able to get the tip today that we desperately needed. With that, I'll turn it over to Sheriff Bradley or Sheriff Dunnigan.
Good morning. I'm Sheriff Bradley with Smith County Sheriff's Office. Good day for law enforcement. We've had 16 days, as the Marshal Service said, grueling, rough days, long hours, and each agency has worked with us. I mean, they went over beyond the call of duty, which that's what it takes. This morning about 5 a.m., my office received a call through 911 that the two subjects we were looking for, possibly in Smith County, at a residence. Apparently they had stopped to get a shower and refuge. And apparently while they were doing the shower, the lady called, advised they were there. I had 3 officers close by. They went to the residence, and both subjects took in without any problem, and we rescued Hayleigh Wilson. She was in good shape. But again, I want to thank the citizens. I want to thank all the agencies involved. Couldn't ask for any better. The media, we appreciate your support and getting out the word. And it's just good teamwork, and that's what it's all about. And safely bring this young lady home unharmed and ends this case. Anything pertaining to the investigation, I'm going to reveal to my major over here and Matt with the Marshal Service after Sheriff of Wythe County speak. Thank you. Appreciate it.
My name is Chief Dunnigan, and I'm the sheriff here in Wythe County. We got involved in this operation last week while we were in the Sugar Grove area. They alerted us that they thought that the suspects may be moving towards Wythe County. And on Saturday night, we relocated the command post from Sugar Grove to here. And since that time, we worked closely with both Smith County, the Virginia State Police, and the Marshal Service to come to this moment. And I think the entire operation, the goal has been to put a sexual predator behind bars and return a 14-year-old lady to her family, and this morning we were able to accomplish that. And if you have any specific questions regarding what's going on in Wythe County, I'll answer those for you later. Thank you. At this point, if you guys have questions, we'll be more willing to try to answer those.
How have they survived over the last couple of weeks?
You have information to believe that they were breaking into places, potentially. They were stealing food, living off of the land. So just trying to survive, from what I can tell.
And how is Hayleigh doing today?
Hayleigh's doing fine. She's been examined. She's reunited with her family. Given the amount of time that they spent out in the wilderness, she's doing well. I guess is the best way to describe it.
And my question is, you know, she obviously went willingly at the beginning, but did she mean to stay this whole time? I mean,
I couldn't speculate on that, and that's part of an ongoing investigation. Unless the sheriffs would like to comment, we'll leave it at that while we're trying to do the investigation.
Is there any evidence that she was abused?
I can't speak to that right now. Again, there's a lot of effort that's going on. The sheriffs can both speak of that. A tremendous amount of effort is continuing to go on. Just because Hayleigh was recovered and the fugitive was arrested doesn't mean that that's the end of this case. There's a tremendous amount of effort that's going to be put forth by the sheriff's departments, the state police, local law enforcement, the marshal service, to try to figure out exactly what happened over these 16 days and whether additional crimes were committed. I wish we could speak on it, we're just not able to at this point.
And we had heard some rumors that maybe he was somewhat involved in other, dealing with other children or something prior to hooking up with Hayleigh.
He has an extensive history of being a sexual predator, and I think that there was a lot of actions that went forth, continuing that path. But again, speaking about specifics, we're not able to at this time.
Do you think that, did those occur in Tennessee, Virginia area, or was it back when he was released from Georgia?
We're looking into all of it. This is an individual that I think, in my opinion, has a habit of a pattern of behavior. Regardless of where he's at, he'll continue that pattern of behavior.
And so, is there any guesstimate? I mean, he could face a number of charges, but is the goal to keep him behind bars forever?
Yes, absolutely. Again, I can't stress this enough. He's been deemed a sexual predator, and as long as he's out there, it is my opinion that he will continue the pattern of abuse that he's done most of his life. So, yeah, the goal is to make sure that we keep our citizens as safe as possible, and I think having Mr. Shook behind bars would help in that effort.
Can you describe the actual arrest, the moment he was arrested?
I'll turn that over to the sheriff.
Can you describe the arrest, the actual moment he was arrested? How that came about? Once we arrived, we had no.
Can you come into the microphone, please?
So once we arrived, no one, he didn't give any problem. He was taken in without any problem, and both taken to the sheriff's office.
Can you elaborate more? You said they were having a shower. Where was that at, and how did the tip come in? How did the tipster know they were wanted?
The tip come in, I heard it from the lady that they had stopped there and asked for the sheriff.
Was it a residence?
It's a residence.
That was in the Atkins area, you said,
yes.
sir?
Did they knock on her door, or how did she come into contact with them?
I haven't spoken to other than briefly from investigators. Apparently they did, and she let them in. So.
Have you been able to trace their trail from the time this all began, where they've been, what places they've been to, and how they've been?
Yes, sir. We have we set up a command center, and we tracked them about from day one, once they were in Smith County, spotted to where we're at now.
Can you give us an idea of how their trail progressed?
We were, I think, calculating the amount of time they were traveling was about a mile, maybe a mile over a day. Refer that to Matt here, he keep up with it, and we were pretty well within zoom where they were traveling, but no one called in, no one spotted. It was spotted in Cedar Springs. That was on Monday.
Have they been living outside this whole time?
From what we gathered, they have.
And so were they traveling during the day, or were they traveling mostly at night?
We figured they were traveling. Yes, sir. He kept up with this. We figured they were traveling after dark, so around dusk, staying close to wood line.
That's correct. We believe, and Smith County units as well as Wythe County units have been integral in keeping the area hot. We believe that they were using Cedar Springs Road as a handrail, so to speak, keeping off of the Cedar Springs Road area far enough, but using it as a guide on a map. And the Sheriff's Department, through multiple interviews of countless hours, Sheriff Bradley's team and also Sheriff Dunnigan's team were able to conduct interviews and determine that certain locations were in fact entered by them and are now being considered for charges of breaking and entering by the Smith County Sheriff's Office.
So did you, originally we were told that he didn't have any outdoor experience, and then later on we're like, no, maybe he did have a little bit more, and I mean, is that what he was versed at living outside?
It's our opinion it's in between, ma'am. We don't think he's an avid outdoorsman and hiker, but he obviously had a skill set to remain in the wood line, remain undetected, and it's very obvious that he was cautious about the persons with whom he had contact. So he did have a skill set above the average, but certainly not expert.
Was he aware of the extent of the search that was going on for him and her?
We don't know the totality of that now because the investigation and interviews are still ongoing, but from our brief encounters, I think it's very evident that he knew he was being sought.
Did he give any statements after being arrested?
I cannot comment on that at this time because they're still in the process of taking care of the interviews and the investigation.
How would you describe his demeanor when you apprehended him?
Sheriff, I'm sorry. I haven't spoken with the officers. They, other than briefing me, said they didn't have no problem, encountered any problems.
No resistance?
No resistance.
Was Hayleigh relieved that it was over?
Again, I hadn't spoken to him about her. I guess she was probably, once she saw the police officers. I couldn't answer that, what she actually said.
Where are you all taking Shook now? Can you say where you all are taking Shook now?
Shook is en route to the Southwest Regional Jail in Athens.
Sheriff, actually, we've deviated from that. That was the original brief of the sheriff. He is en route to the Greenville Federal Courthouse in Greenville, Tennessee for an initial appearance before the United States Magistrate Judge in that district.
What time will that have? Is that today, or?
It will be scheduled by the U.S. District Court. We were not advised of the time at this point.
And what will be the chain? Will he be taken back to Georgia for the failure to register, or will it take place in Tennessee?
No, sir. Sheriff Bradley's team arrested him on the U.S. Marshal's failure to register warrant, so he is in federal custody. He will be transported there where he will undergo proceedings. Any other pending charges that may result from Sheriff Bradley's team, Sheriff Dunnigan's team, or any other charges from Georgia will be filed as a detainer, and he will fall to that after he's been prosecuted for the federal failure to register case held by the U.S. Marshal Service.
Do you know anything about what their plan was? Did they have a destination, an ultimate destination?
For lack of sounding sarcastic, sir, it's my understanding their plan is they didn't have a plan. Other than not to be called.
Was he armed when he was arrested? Sir? Was he armed or have any weapons with him? No. Again, I want to thank you, the media, for keeping up with this and putting it out to the citizens. It's a big help to us, and we really appreciate it. Again, thank all the officers that assisted in this hunt. I'm just glad it's over with. This young lady is home, unhome. That was her main goal, to get her home, unhome. Thank you.